Welcome back to Alchemy of the Dark Feminine with your host, Gracen. Today's episode is going to be my first sacred transmission, so the opening of a portal for all of you to find yourselves again through my voice. So, this episode is going to be a sanctuary for sensitive, powerful women who are done surviving and ready to reclaim their softest strength. Okay, so as your psychic guide, author, and woman rising from the ashes of trauma into sovereign, sacred embodiment. This space is for the ones who've been told they're too emotional, too deep, too much, when in truth, you've just always been too radiant to dim. Let's begin. If you're here, it means something inside of you is waking up, cracking open, maybe softly, maybe through heartbreak, maybe with rage or grief or tears that just won't stop. I want to tell you something sacred. You're not falling apart. You're returning to your radiance. For so long, I lived in survival mode, fawning, performing for connection, dimming myself down, creating this diet version of myself, doing anything to stay safe in environments that didn't know how to hold me. I called it being strong, quote unquote. I called it being emotionally mature. How many of y'all have done that one? I called it, quote unquote, doing the work. But my body was still frozen in old survival codes, flinching at love, apologizing for my glow and me taking up space, begging to be chosen by people who couldn't even choose themselves, all right? This podcast, this space is my reclamation. And if it's reaching you now, maybe it's yours too. This is a place where we'll talk about what it means to leave behind survival identities, how to anchor nervous system safety as your new baseline, and totally shifting out of that survival energy and detaching from the survival grid. The grief, oh my gosh, the layers of grief that come when you stop fawning, okay? When you stop performing, when you stop people pleasing. The spiritual power in your emotions, and also how to build a radiant, intuitive life, not in spite of your past, but because you're finally alchemizing it. So right here, right now, I'm going to share the truth behind my healing journey, the heartbreaks that cracked me open, and the spiritual gifts I reclaimed along the way, and the softness I had to learn on how to feel safe in my body again, okay? So some of my episodes will be storytelling, some will be sacred hypnosis or rituals, different kinds of meditations. Some will be channeled transmissions from my higher self or yours, but all of them will be here to remind you that one, you were never too much, and two, you were always too sacred to be suppressed, okay? So if you're ready to soften, if you're ready to rise, if you're ready to take up space from the inside out, welcome home, my love. You've returned to your radiance. One of the biggest heartbreaks I would say absolutely changed my life and my journey is not having a family shoulder to cry on. So this looks like me moving through my day-to-day life, my matrix job, and just other life shit that happens, and moving through my own unprocessed, repressed memories and trauma, and having all of that surface, all of the grief, all of the anger, all of the sadness, all of this inner deep rage coming up to be expressed, to be felt, and to move through, so that I can shed that old version of myself, shed that old energy, and embody my newest and truest, most authentic, radiant self. And when you don't have a sister to call because you grew up experiencing emotional triangulation because you had a narcissistic parent, especially a narcissistic mother, and your dad was a toxic codependent and doesn't have any sense of emotional maturity, you feel so extremely alone. And there is a deep heartbreak that comes with that comes with everything falling on your shoulders alone. And honestly, I'm gonna be so honest with you guys because I absolutely love my podcast community, and I don't know what it is about the souls that I reach here, but I just feel so emotionally safe and vulnerable and comfortable with you guys. So yeah, I might start crying in this podcast because of the energy I've been moving through today and the past couple of days. But anyways, I'm dealing with this today as well, and even though I'm still feeling heavy, I'm still feeling raw. I'm showing up for all of you because I love all of you, and I'm so grateful for all of your support. And I love seeing all the different locations and countries that I reach on a day-to-day basis, and I want to say thank you. I'm so grateful for all of you. But anyways, there is a heartbreak that I feel like it comes in waves, where your next intense wave of emotions where you feel emotionally paralyzed and you're having a hard time keeping up with your chores around your house, taking care of yourself, because you literally just feel like emotionally paralyzing out in your bed. You don't feel like doing a goddamn thing. You feel like just watching Netflix or watching TV, or maybe just sleeping or doing absolutely nothing and doom scrolling on TikTok or whatever. Okay? There is this navigation that you have to master and learn of how can I feel what I need to feel while also balancing not being hard on myself and not judging myself and being like, you know what? It's okay that I didn't take my trash out today. It's okay that I didn't finish the dishes in the sink today. It is okay that I did not fold this laundry today. I'm going to allow my nervous system to relax and reset, and I'm going to help soothe it by taking a nice nourishing bath for myself, or maybe it's going on a walk, or maybe it's going outside, or maybe it's taking a nap for 3+ hours, or whatever it is. But it's really about prioritizing that balance that your nervous system needs, that it's going to need that support. If you're coming out of survival mode, out of especially a lifetime of survival mode, you have got to recreate that baseline of safety for yourself. And eventually that's going to help you move through that heartbreak energy of not being able to call anyone when you're having a bad day or a heavy day, or someone to emotionally vent to or rant to, because one, you've mastered that balance. You've mastered, okay, you know what? I know how to take care of myself, and I know how to move through this energy, and I'm not going to let it totally fucking consume me. I'm going to do the best that I can, and I'm going to show up for myself. And if I show up for myself in a few ways or for like 10 minutes, and that's all I can do, that's all my nervous system can handle today, that's totally okay. And I'm not going to beat myself up for it. I feel like that is so important to talk about. And I can't remember if I briefly mentioned that in my book in chapter 1 or not, but I definitely go into great detail about what it's like growing up with divorced parents and having an emotionally immature dad and a narcissistic mother. So anyways, another one of the heartbreaks along my journey that has really impacted me very recently is realizing that I have been performing for connection, and this is going to be so fucking triggering. I mean, just for me alone, but I'm sure for all of you as well. For me, with relationships, due to my unique upbringing, I would say I probably went through several trauma bonds. And those, I would say, were one of the hardest relationships to absolutely walk away from, because walking away from those men was like walking away from everything that I knew in my life. And at the time, I remember, this is crazy. I remember getting into an argument with my ex-husband, and in the middle of our argument, I was watching, this is so crazy, I was watching this energetic cycle, like circling in his energy, and I looked at that, and I was like, what the fuck is that? That's weird. And in the moment, I was like, there's something here that's repeating. It's literally going in a circle, like it's a cycle. This is so weird. And eventually I figured it out. I figured it out that it was going to be the same thing replaying. So I was like, okay, you know what? I have to choose me. I have to put myself first, and this is going to suck. I'm going to be depressed. I'm going to be sad. But you know what? Like, the grass is going to be greener on the other side. 100%. Absolutely. Because love does not require suffering. It does not require being abused. And that was one of the biggest illusions I had to crack for myself was love or abuse is not love. Control is not love. Manipulation is not love. Gaslighting is not love. That is toxic. That's transactional, conditional love. That's controlling. That's super toxic, super negative, and super unhealthy for your body, your nervous system, and your soul. And anyways, fast forward to navigating other relationships after that. I navigated through some shadow bonds with other partners, and I came to this realization of every relationship I have been in, like up to this point, has been me falling in love with my own pain from childhood trauma. Let this trigger you. Let this have wounds and other shit surface in your energy and your soul and in your nervous system as well, and maybe even your subconscious mind that you didn't know was there. And I just want you to feel the emotional intensity of that. And if you react, that's totally okay. I highly recommend going to the gym if anger gets triggered. But if sadness or grief or any of that gets triggered, get ready to draw yourself a bath, okay, or something nourishing. But that was the biggest realization I came to very recently is, wow, like all of this pain and this trauma and all of these relationships have really just been guiding me back home to myself in the most intense, obviously, kind of triggering ways. But I realized, like, wow, all of this has been to teach me that I haven't been loving myself as deep as I should be. As deep as I should have learned when I was born. So really feel into that. So if you grew up with super unhealthy, toxic parents like I did, you did not learn how to love yourself in the deepest way that was healthy with a secure attachment and having a strong sense of self and all of those things. And it was so triggering for me to come to that realization of Jesus Christ. Like, I have literally never truly, deeply, I don't want to say love myself, because in a way, in a higher perspective way, you are loving yourself by moving through that energy and by growing and evolving and still moving forward and still pushing forward. So in a way, you are loving yourself. But I'm trying to think of how to word this yes, thank you. It is coming to the conscious realization of the love, the easy, safe, secure, abundant, non-transactional love that you have always deserved, and knowing that you have always been enough and that you are always worthy and you always have been worthy. And all of these toxic, crazy partners are reflections of your shit that you needed to work through in order to see, hey, this is what's going on in your energy and this is what you were shown, but this is not the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is that love is easy, is effortless, is soft, is safe, and what you have been going through is showing you, like guiding you how to get there by purging that out and seeing that reflected in these partners, if that makes any sense. So I love to say that this is kind of like crazy, but as a psychic, like I really love using partners as mirrors in like the highest vibrational way of being like, oh shit, like that's in my energy. Oh my God, that's playing out. I didn't even know that. There's a shadow bond here, you know? And anyways, I've cut all trauma bonds out of my energy, so I can no longer trauma bond, but I channeled that. I'm still gonna shadow bond, which sucks, but it's okay. Shadow bonds are meant to help you grow and evolve and reach your like best ultimate self. And it's just another way to guide you back home to yourself. And a lot of us who are born into these super toxic, dysfunctional, family narcissistic symptoms, we get so lost. We get fucking lost. We get so blind. We get hopeless. We get helpless. We feel powerless. We have no idea where to go. We have no idea how to navigate our lives. We have no idea what our next step is. And it's like all of these relationships and all of these certain life experiences are really just, in a higher realm and a higher perspective, they're just certain situations and experiences that are helping you guide you back home. And I hope that I can do that for you guys as well. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share that and how heartbreaking it has been for me moving through that grief of, wow, like I don't have to perform to be chosen. I'm choosing me. I'm putting myself first, you know? And that's something that you don't learn from a narcissistic parent, a narcissistic family system. You learn to people please everybody around you, and you learn to filter yourself. And because, right, you don't want to upset everybody. You walk on eggshells. So anyways, I feel like this is a good place to cut it here, and I just want to say thank you for being here. If this episode resonated, I'd love for you to share it or leave a soft review so more souls like us can find their way home. You can also connect with me on TikTok or through my book on Amazon. Both are linked in the show notes below. So until next time, remember, honor your emotions, reclaim your glow, and know that radiance isn't a performance. It is your birthright. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. Radiance isn't a performance. It's your birthright, naturally, to embody that. Okay? I love you guys. I will talk to y'all soon. I will see you next Wednesday for our next deep dive. Bye for now.